Of course.
Oh, okay. You say so.
So I'm listening.
You ready?
Yeah.
Well, I came here in 1969, August 31st. There was a day. It was a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Came into Pan American Airlines. Bought their stocks later on and lost money in it because the company went bankrupt. Anyway, that was my luck. So, my childhood was, it's very hard to raise yourself without a father and a mother. So my mother was both, my mentor, my teacher. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to go to any religious classes or schools or madrasas, so I'm a little bit backwards. My knowledge is very poor in religion, unfortunately. And what knowledge I've gained in religion is mostly here. The real, authentic religion and the meaning of translation of the Quran, Quranic verses and all that. And here I went all the way to even build a mosque in Lafayette, Louisiana. And tomorrow morning, if you have time, we can go in the morning and pray over there. If I can get you all up early, which I doubt it. Anyway, so as a kid, now I took myself my education. I went to Habib Public School, got too far from Sarfabad, and to take a bus over there, it took forever. So finally, I came to BVS, it was closer and was on a bus route, and it kind of helped. It was still far, but it was good. And the school was BVS Parsi High School. In those days, if you got into BVS Parsi High School, you were genius or lucky, either one. Or you bribed somebody. So in my case, I couldn't bribe anybody, so I had to take exam. So I passed and they accepted me. The fees were high. They worked with me. You know, I told them my situation. I said, listen, I don't have a father and I'm depending on my brothers and, you know, my mother is a widow and she don't have like a income or nothing. She's just like get a stipend, you know, they give you so much allowance to your mom and that's it. And we have severe tight budget. So that's how I was raised. I grew up. And from there, after I finished school, I went to National College. I did a little tutoring on the side. Couldn't finish the college in 2 years, it took me 3. But I had to kind of do it, think quietly because the colleges were not cheap either, because it was a private college. And that's about it so far that's concerned. When it came to the movies, I didn't have the opportunity to go to the movies. I didn't get the opportunity to see whether real Karachi was or nothing. What I did is very little from here to there, there to here. And I had an opportunity, or my brothers gave me an opportunity to become a partner in a business. And so I said, okay. But they didn't tell me the partnership only for income tax purposes. So whenever that is that, then you don't make the real profit, you know what I mean? So it was like just for the fun of it, I guess. I got engaged over there to my cousin. It would have worked out well, but then I decided to come here and just started working here, going to school, struggling. Life was rough, but you know, I had a lot of determination and kind of stubborn that I want to prove that I can do it on my own. And Alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me with everything. Hard work in this country pays off. Education helps. Common sense helps. And prayers from your parents. And there was a pretty much start. I was at A&M for one semester, rather subsidiary of A&M, because I was one day late. So I could not get into A&M. So they pushed me into a junior college, which was okay, it was cheaper. So I saved some money there, like tuition was, in those days, $400 a semester.
She came here to study.
Yeah, $400. Second semester, no money. So I said, what do you do? So I started working in Brenham. They had a cotton seed oil factory. It was run by Germans. Brenham is a German town, right by A&M, Texas A&M, by College Station. That's where I worked like a night shift and would go to college in the daytime. And you can't work 12-hour shift and be there in the morning to go to school.
What was your job there?
Huh?
What was your job there?
My job was there to make sure that the cotton seeds did not get stuck in the grinder.
It was a labor job.
Yeah, it was a labor job, yeah. Oh yeah, you can say that. You had to take a long pole and shove those seeds into a funnel-like shape, make sure it didn't get stuck. So all night long you watched. You couldn't sleep, you couldn't go on a break. If you went on a break, then you had to call the supervisor, take a 10-minute break, and then you came back, drink a cup of coffee and all that. So that was a start there. It wasn't very pleasant. I met a guy out of Kaplan, Louisiana. It's a small town about 40 miles from here. There, his parents were in banking and farming. And being my interest in petroleum engineering, he said, well, we have a best school in the country, one of the best schools in petroleum engineering. I said, where? He says, in Lafayette, Louisiana. Never heard the name. So he said, well, come with me, I'm getting married. I said, why? I said, you're only, what, 19, 20? He said, yeah. He said, I got a problem. I said, what kind of problem you have? I said, you're not engaged? No. But then he tells me, well, he got the girl pregnant. And his father is going to kill him if you don't get married. And the father-in-law, he's going to kill me also. So I'm going to be slaughtered. He says, they're going to hang me if I don't get married. Okay? So he brings me in his car here to his wedding and all that. And I stayed a couple of days to his house. It was very nice. He introduced me with his uncles introduced me with in those days we called them coach. They were the Coach de LeBlanc. We had a governor right here. That was her husband, Kathleen Blanco, Babino, and that was her husband. And he helped me out over there, with the lodging. And I said, oh, you can stay. This is summertime. Stay with at the dorm with the football players, rough characters, I said, okay. And it was free. And I said, hey, free is better than having to pay, And then especially when you're broke. And here you got a suitcase in your hand, you're coming out of a bus, and where are you going to go, So I had the opportunity. So next day I seen him again, walking. So I made my point to walk by his office. Hey, how you doing, and blah, 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 trying to do little public relations. He said, what are you doing all summer? I said, nothing. So he said, you want to work? I said, yeah, I'm looking for work. So he sent me to the cafeteria. Now this is summer. That guy named Terry, about 7-foot guy, he sent me, and I said, good morning. I said, Coach LeBlanc sent me right here to see you. He said, yeah, he called me already. He said, here's an apron, start working. He said, go start washing dishes. He said, they will teach you how to do it. So there's a bunch of rough characters using bad language and all that. I didn't like it. So next day I said, look, is there any other place I can wash dishes or do something else? He said, yeah. He says, go front and start serving the people. So from that day, that was my job, to just put a little funny looking cap on and put an apron on and serve in cafeteria, the food. So I did that the whole semester. Saved a little money. I had enough money to pay for the school next semester. Then I had in those days, 20,000 rupees coming to me. So my brother Harun, who was a full partner in the business, and so he sent me that money, and which helped. And I just one day I said, finally I started working for a company called Dobbs House. Dobbs House is a subsidiary of, you may have heard of Squibb Corporation. They were a pharmaceutical company. They merged 12 years ago into some big company, and it's called Squibb, blah, 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 Anyway, so I worked over there, and they have the second or the first or the largest catering service in the world for airplanes. At the airports, you see Dobbs House and Tuttle House in those days. I don't know if they even exist nowadays. So they sent me a few places and trained me and gave me the opportunity to work my way up from bottom up, from cooking to learning how to wash dishes, to operate different equipment. And I learned the food business. And finally, when I became a manager over there, then where I started sending money to my mother. And she saved every penny because she didn't feel like spending it. Saved it? No. She probably gave it away as a zakah or charity, whatever. Sadaqah, what do you call it? And I learned how to read the P&Ls, financial statements of a corporation, which is, in those days, were 10 pages, for one store. So I would be filling up the form, the daily report, this, that, deposit, the whole 9 yards. So learn, how much profit in the food business is, So I said, well, I'm going to buy a little franchise. So I bought a franchise in a chicken place. And rented a place, paid $400 a month rent. It was high. But the building was, if you repaired one end, it fell from the other end. So we stayed 5 years. After 5 years, I said, I got enough. So I went and talked to the owners, and I said, listen, what about if I build a building, okay, on your land, and sell it to you at my cost? So he said, oh, really? He said, how much? He said, okay, give us the figures. So I gave him the figures. So they bought it. So my rent went from $400 to $1,000. But $1,040 actually, exactly. But what happened is the business tripled. So the business tripled, so that $640 extra was chump change. Well, from there, I said, well, I stayed 5 more years with it. I said, why am I doing all this, paying somebody else the rent and all that? I said, I've saved enough money. So I had met some lady friends out of a town called Brobridge. And they would, you know what bowling balls are? They would go to bowling lanes, and I don't know if they have in Pakistan or not. So they had a group of ladies. They would come and go play, and so they would come late at night, and like 10, 11, 12. They would say, if you open the store for us, we'll give you plenty of business, plus we'll tip you $20. I said, wow. I said, I sure will. So they would come, I would cook them whatever they want. Sometimes they wanted fried liver, catfish, fish, homemade hamburgers, whatever they want, I had it. Sometimes even a beer. I would buy a 6-pack of beer and just bring it to them, They were happy. So they said, hey, why don't you open one in Brobridge? I said, where's Brobridge? They tell me where the Brobridge is. So I go see the town. Well, they said, look, there's a piece of property on the shopping center, Winn-Dixie Shopping Center, big shopping center, just came to Brobridge, the first shopping center in Brobridge, Louisiana. Population, 3,000. I said, okay. So I go buy the land in those days for $20,000. Now this is on the shopping center. Right now you can't touch it for $500,000 or more. Anyway, to make it short, I put a building there. State buys the right of way from me. So they gave me plenty of money for the building. I said, well, so, naturally, back and forth negotiation. I said, look, my parking is shot now, but the building is on the road. I said, I cannot operate that. I'll have to bulldoze the building. So they gave me enough money to put a new building in the back. So I was able to put a better building, bigger building with a drive-through window and all that. And it all worked out in my favor. So business over there was just, Brobridge has never seen fried chicken in their life. Sun up, sun down, you had customers. You had the police car would come and mind the traffic. It was that good. So we were the chicken king over there. So we had a real good start over in Brobridge. From there, I'm into another town called St. Martin's. Open a place over there. Now the land, I'm buying from the same corporation, the land. Now in about 3 years, the land price is $50,000 now for the same size of piece of property, being on the shopping center. So I bought that, 50. Put another building there. Borrowed the money from the bank. And kept on multiplying. And opened one in Broussard. And opened one in Scott. Opened one in Crowley. Opened several restaurants.
Same brand.
Same brand. Did very well.
With your own brand or somebody else?
Well, it was like a portion of that brand. Hey, we owned it. Coco. Portion of that brand franchise, there was a condition that if I open stores, more stores, then I want a piece of the royalties. You had to pay 3% to the franchising corporation. That was cheap in those days. That was low. Now is nothing less than 10%. 9 to 10% with advertising and all that. We were not big into advertising and all that stuff. So we did well. Then came Popeyes after several years. So there was a time I felt like that's a bigger corporation, they can put us out in business. So they bought the store from me in Brookridge. So that was the first one they bought. Then I sold them the store, some other stores, and kept some. Went into an area where they were not there, like in Scott, they were not there. We had a huge success in Scott. Broussard, they were, we had a huge success over there. And finally I said after 30 years. And meanwhile, 31 years ago, to be exact, we bought a piece of property, about 6 acres, and built an apartment complex. So there was a 120 unit complex, it's still there, and that's all I do full time. So from our restaurants, after 30 years, got tired.
How many branches did you have?
How many what?
Branches did you have?
5. 5 at one time. There was a lot to do both. Either you had to neglect the restaurant business or the apartment business. So it was kind of a toss-up. So we say it's time we're getting, restaurant business is tough business. You're on your feet all day long. At least in the apartment business, you're there 9 to 5, sometimes 10 to 5, sometimes 10 to 7, sometimes. It all depends, you set your own hours. So alhamdulillah, it's working out well. And that's how I make a living. That's the story of my life.
So you became a millionaire in the U.S.?
Absolutely.
No, you came with a lot of money when you came to the U.S.?
Yeah, I came with 2 zeros.
Nothing.
Well, I want to say a couple of $1,000 in those days, which was no money. Paid a couple of semesters and, Yeah. But I saved my own money. When I told his Nana, my brother, my mother, of course, I had to get a blessing first. And I got all my paperwork, admission, visas, the whole 9 yards. So I said, I'm going to U.S., and I said, I don't think I have a future here. And he came all the way in the airplane. In those days, Pan Am, flew all the way to Karachi. Made a stop in London, then to New York. And he said, tell me what you want. I said, nothing. I said, I just want to, get them on feet and, that's it. I said, I don't see any future for myself. Because I found out, how I was, you were told one thing and done another thing. So it was a little heartbreaking story, let's put it this way.
Thank you so much.